If you're looking for a watch that punches way above its price tag, it usually comes down to two names, Casio and Seiko. Casio is god tier when it comes to budget legends. It's a watch so simple and iconic, even billionaires admire it. Then there's Seiko, the undisputed king of value. It's the kind of watch that will last you a lifetime without draining your life savings. So, which one should you go for? Bit of a tough call, right? Don't worry, we've got you covered as we break it down in this video. Casio Computer Company Limited is a Japanese company that was originally formed in 1946 as Casio Seisakujo. The brand was known for creating calculators, which are still popular today. Their first wristwatch, called Casiotron, was only launched in 1974. However, the brand found its bread and butter with the release of the retro-futuristic F100, not to be confused with the very retro Ford F100. The F100 was released in 1977 and was one of the first wristwatches to be constructed mostly in lightweight resin. Casio has stuck to this style for the most part, but has still taken the bold approach to making other options, some that even resemble famous Swiss offerings like the Cartier tank. Casio has also become known for making use of quartz movements throughout all of its models, and you'll probably never see a mechanical Casio. Over the years, Casio has become famous for two other things. First, for their immensely influential G-Shock range, which, as the name suggests, is a range of immensely robust and utilitarian watches that'll withstand, well, just about anything. Worn by Marines and teens alike, the G-Shock transcends far more than any other watch does on the planet. Lastly, Casio has also caught fame thanks to YouTube sensation Nico Leonard, praising Casio as being god tier, indicating that you cannot buy a better watch than a Casio. Seiko was founded in 1881 and soon became one of the largest Japanese horology conglomerates. Initially, the brand garnered fame for its ability to create some exceptionally high-value divers that are a steal for the money. What's more, they're also known for the quartz crisis, a time in the 70s when the first quartz watches were released by Seiko. Seiko's ability to create exceptionally accurate timepieces at a fraction of the cost the Swiss were charging threw the entire watch market on its head. Today, Seiko is still one of the leading brands when it comes to value for money. And now, the big question, the one I've been dreading to answer because, well, both these brands have fan bases that won't hesitate to step up and defend these watches if they hear something bad about it. Cautiously, let's answer the question about which is best for you, a person with no affinity for either. There's a clear difference between the two brands that can simply be defined as what you value more. If you prefer ease of mind with a dash of value, then Casio's the one for you. If you prefer value over ease of mind, then Seiko is your best bet, and here's why. Let's not beat around the bush. Both of these brands are immensely popular, with several decades of history to back them up. You could wear a Casio and impress both a 7-year-old and get a nod from a millionaire as you bought something that grants exceptional ease of mind while also offering a ton of value. Buying a Casio is like buying a Honda. For most, it looks cheap and cheerful, but only a few know that Honda has an extremely rich racing history and has made some of the most impressive sports cars in history. Even Ferrari felt the heat from the original NSX. Seiko, on the other hand, takes this and dials it up to 11. Seiko is known for creating watches that are either loved or hated by people. Seiko is a brand that under-promises and over-delivers, granting them brand recognition to the likes of the Swiss. Seiko also has way more influential models that have stood the test of time. Round 1, Seiko. This is an area that Casio used to struggle with, seeing as their entire range was based around digital watches. But this has now changed. Whether you're looking for a limited edition Coke G-Shock or a Tiffany blue 3-hander, Casio has a bunch of brilliant options. What's more, they're all relatively cost-effective as well. Seiko would beat Casio on this one if you compare them side to side, simply because Seiko does produce more variants of their models and has done so with greater success for far longer. Their dress range also has more to offer, not to mention the diving range. That said, I think this has to be a draw. Both of these are massive companies, and when you tally up all that either has to offer, the ranges are somewhat similar. We do have to give a slight edge to Seiko though, simply because there's more. A more extensive collection list, more versions, and more movement offerings as well. For these reasons, Seiko will edge out this round. You can wear them while doing a diving trip or while shopping. Unless you specifically buy a G-Shock made for either, it's going to be hard to pull that off in a Casio. Round 2, draw. This is going to be a doozy. Both of these brands are offered as cost-effective alternatives to some Swiss and German counterparts. So which edges the other when it comes to build quality? Firstly, it is clear that Casio focuses on production numbers and chases sales as best as it can. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, the Casio G-Shock is renowned for having some of the best quality and durability on the market. Therefore, the build quality and durability are exceptional. Everything seems mechanically made, which isn't wrong. The durability, as a result, is almost unmatched. Compared to Seiko, who certainly prefers going after new, funky design. They're known for staying true to what works, as displayed by the wide variety of exploratory and traditional divers. In terms of durability, Seiko is still up there hanging with the best of them, but if you take everything into account, this round has to go to Casio. Round 3, Casio. This is perhaps where the one brand will not only have a comfortable win, but surpass the other completely. For reasons unknown, watch enthusiasts all prefer mechanical movements, either self-winding or manually wound. The only real argument is that this is a romantic gesture between you and your watch, a connection that surpasses the electronic world we live in. Well, Casio doesn't have a single mechanical watch on sale anymore. It did once have them, but has since switched to either quartz or solar-powered movements only. Seiko, on the other hand, has quartz, solar-powered, self-winding, and manually wound offerings. Done. There's no competition. Round 4, Seiko, handsomely. Firstly, on the topic of availability, these are evenly matched. You can get both of these online, in shops, and even on the second-hand market. When it comes to price, things start to differ once again. Casio will always be slightly cheaper due to the fact that their watches are typically more in regards to finish, movement quality, and materials used. Seiko makes watches you could potentially use in the setting they were designed for. G-Shocks are as durable as can be, but the rest of the lineup seems more focused on aesthetics. In the end, Seiko will be more expensive, but for good reason. Round 5, draw. You get what you pay for. Let's cut to the chase on this one. In recent years, the watch market hasn't just boomed, it's completely exploded. Watches fetching 200% of stock price was not an uncommon sighting. That said, it probably won't happen with a Casio. The number of Casios being produced is simply too high to create lust among collectors. The same cannot be said for Seiko. Sure, they create a massive number of watches, and you're very likely to get them all over the net, but they're a tiny bit more exclusive compared to other watches produced by Casio. They're harder to produce, they cost more, and some of them even have a history and come with nicknames. This makes them far more likely to sell for sticker price compared to Casio. Round 6, Seiko. Before we reach a full conclusion, it's probably best we compare some of the most famous of best-selling models from each of these horological giants. When you read the name G-Shock, you immediately think about an environment like the forest or desert, so finding a suitable comparison is going to be hard, but Seiko will not back down as it proposes the humble Seiko 5 Sports. The Seiko 5 has become incredibly famous in recent years, especially with the discontinuation of the SKX 007. You get various colors and even a GMT option as well. It's not that expensive, it has a reliable movement within, and the finishing, while not perfect, is definitely suitable for a watch many consider as their first or even their beater. G-Shock, on the other hand, is famous around the world. Worn by some of the most popular figures in the world, including Justin Bieber, you have to pay respect where it's due. It's very hard for a watch to beat the G-Shock, and very few do. It makes zero apologies for being large, colorful, and packed with more features than you might need. It's impossible for G-Shock to lose this battle. In fact, G-Shock would even win against some Swiss giants. Ah yes, the Casio AQ230GA 9DMQ. Reminiscent of those retro watches the brand has become extremely well known for. This particular option is finished with a gold tint and offers a unique champagne dial displaying both analog and digital time. This is rather intriguing and has only really been used by a few brands. Remember I mentioned that these brands do create some watches reminiscent of their Swiss counterparts? Well, the SUP 880 is precisely that, looking eerily similar to a Cartier tank. What's unique about this one is the fact that it's a solar option, and it looks exceptional. It's relatively inexpensive, and it takes the cake between these two. It just looks so much more intriguing and attractive, not trying quite as hard as the Casio. That said, the Casio is 1/4 of the price, something to consider. The last comparison is certainly one of the specified models. The Edifice range of Casio is perhaps not the range the brand is most known for, but it remains an integral part of the brand to this day. The Ref is a rather handsome offering, combining sporting features in an elegant package. A Panda dial with a thin black tachometer bezel secured with a leather strap, and you might even fool some people into thinking it's an expensive mechanical offering, but in reality, it's a cost-effective quartz model. The Speedtimer is a model with way more history and oomph behind its name. Originally released in the 60s and then re-released decades later, the Speedtimer range is inspired by retro designs combined with modern mechanical prowess. Similarly to the Casio, a Panda dial, but a robust case design, and this time offered with a polished 3-link bracelet. This is certainly more on the sportier side. And the winner is? Neither. These two companies market watches and make them differently. Casio happens to make some of the most loved models on the market and rarely misses the mark. Seiko, on the other hand, experiments more but also has way more heritage to go off of and does have a strong following. In the end, it all comes down to what you like and the price range you can afford. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe for more content just like this.
Thanks for joining us. If you're in the market to buy a watch, Exquisite Timepieces is an authorized dealer for more than 60 luxury watch brands, including Omega, Seiko, Grand Seiko, Hublot, Oris, Longines, along with the rest of the great high-end watch brands. Visit our website at exquisitetimepieces.com, call us at 239-227-2932, or come in and shop our store location in Naples, Florida.